Gene, what do you know about cloning?
Cloning?
Cloning.
Cloning?
Cloning.
Cloning?
Yeah, cloning. They're doing a lot of that now.
Next thing you know, they'll be cloning you, Danae.
Well, what's not to like about that? Hey, Gene, when I say biotechnology, do you think cloning cows and genetically modified food?
Oh, yeah, and I think I'm really hungry too.
Anyway, it's a lot more than that. Like when you go and have a blood test, they're using the latest biotech techniques.
Yeah, I'm still hungry, but...
Oh, Gene, you know you can grow whole tissues and organs like skin from cells.
Oh, yuck, get out, that's disgusting.
No, it's really important for people who've been burnt and need new skin.
I like it.
Oh, Gene, I've worked out what I want to do with my life.
Oh, it's about time, Danae. You'll make a great hairdresser.
No, I'm going to be a bioprospector.
Oh, that sounds really good. Is that something to do with biotech?
Yeah, you know Lara Croft in Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
I'll be trekking through rainforests or diving in the Great Barrier Reef and discovering new drugs that might cure cancer.
You legend. Wow, Danae, I'd like to be one of those guys in forensics, solving crimes.
Well, yeah, you know, there's a lot more to science than solving crime, Gene.
Yeah, I know, but when you're solving crime, you get like a cool car, you get lots of money, and meet lots of cool people. Might even get on the telly.
I like it.
I work at the Queensland Museum. I'm head of biodiversity program, and I'm actually an expert in marine sponges. Our job as it relates to biotechnology is to find the animals and plants that the biotechnologists use to find new pharmaceutical products. Well, AZT, the drug they're using for AIDS, was first discovered in a marine sponge, and since then they've found lots of things like painkillers, anti-cancer, antiviral compounds. The best thing about my job is that every day is a new day. Nothing's the same. You get to travel the world quite a bit. You get to dive in other countries, meet other people and experience other cultures. Science is terrific because it's like being a detective. At universities and at school you get taught the facts, but when you actually practice science, you use those facts to help you try and interpret life on Earth. So you go and discover things like a detective, and you've got to put the pieces together like a jigsaw puzzle. And everything you find, or most things you find, are new, and you're the person who finds them, you're the person who discovers them.
I work for DPI Forestry. That's a state-owned commercial business unit that predominantly grows plantation timber. I work on the Wallamai Pine project, which is a project looking at the commercialisation of a rare and ancient species. We're going to export that internationally. So I work on propagating the plant. So I work in the nursery, I work in the field, in the office on my computer, and also in the lab propagating plants that way. We're the only people in the whole world to propagate the Wallamai pine because we're world leaders in propagating that species. It's a very exciting project to work with. I've got to travel to all throughout Australia to meet with clients. Also internationally I've travelled to meet with research bodies and also customers. Science is a great career for young people because there's so many varied things that you can do, and the most important thing is that they have applications that make a difference to the real world. The best thing is the satisfaction I get from working with a whole range of people who really make me feel like I'm achieving something in my job.
I'm an Australian Research Council Research Fellow looking at vision in sharks and rays at the University of Queensland. That means that I'm trying to find out what the visual systems of sharks and rays are like, whether they can see colour and how we might use that information. It certainly looks like some species of ray have colour vision, and now what I want to do is go on and look at sharks to see whether they have colour vision as well. The point of this is to find out how the animals are adapted to their particular environment, how they find their prey and how they avoid predators, and also whether we can find out something more interesting for the biology of the animal that might help in their conservation, perhaps even to design better surfboards so that they don't get eaten by sharks. The best part about my job is finding out new things about exciting animals, getting to see a lot of Australian wildlife, and making a difference. So although I spend a lot of time in the lab doing physiology, I also get the opportunity to look at the behaviour of the animals and go to field sites such as the Heron Island Research Station. I'd recommend science as a career to young people. It's very exciting, it's very diverse, there's millions of different topics you can research on, and it's a good opportunity to see the world.
I'm actually doing a PhD with the CRC for tropical plant protection, and what my research involves is looking at genes that turn on and off a plant's immune system against disease. Yeah, it's quite fun, I enjoy it. I'm getting towards the end of my PhD at the moment, so it's getting pretty busy, but I've had a good run. I've gone overseas doing some research over there, and I've also met lots of people when I was abroad, so it's been really enjoyable so far. Hopefully at the end of this I will either possibly go back overseas and do a few more years of research with them, or stay here and keep researching on the similar projects that I've been working with so far. The end product of this research hopefully will result in new plant species or even crop varieties that will be more immune to disease, and they'll be able to fight off any fungus or bacteria that infect them. Well, I think with my research it's always good to come in the morning and discover something new in a day that no one else in the entire world has found before. Well, for biotech it's really exciting to be on the cutting edge of research. You're always discovering new things, and to be there, it's always changing, it's always exciting, and so you're never stuck in an office from 9 to 5. You're always out doing new things and discovering new results. Some of the scientists I work with are geeks with pointy heads, but the majority of us are just normal people who like to do normal things.
I'm a research scientist with CSIRO, and basically my day-to-day work involves working in a laboratory, and my scientific career has started out in sugarcane and then moved to prawns, and now I work on cows. It's never a dull moment, but the actual science is always the same, and basically my work involves DNA. If you want your work to be interesting, constantly changing, if you like the idea of working with technology and having to keep up to date with technology, then science is definitely a great field to be working in. But then there's so many different aspects to science. I mean, I'm a laboratory science and I work on DNA and in the area of biotechnology, but there's so many other fields also. That gives you the opportunity to travel and to interact with people from foreign countries. On this floor alone where I work, there's probably 40 scientists, and up to half of them would come from other countries around the world. The best thing about my job would have to be the people that I work with, and the other thing would just have to be the technology, the fact that it's always changing, never boring, and keeps you interested and keeps you coming to work every day.
The reason why I got into science is because I enjoyed biology at high school. From there I went on to university where I did a Bachelor of Applied Science in biotechnology and a co-major in forensic science. From then I did honours and my PhD here at QIMR on prostate cancer research. On a day-to-day basis I do lab work, I collect tissue specimens and analyse results. We go over to surgery, and we go into surgery while the patient's on the table, and we gown up before we enter. The surgeon from then cuts us a tissue sample and we freeze it and bring it back to the laboratory for further analysis. We need to have the tissue samples fresh, so we need to be there immediately as the tissue's removed. Our work's important because we're doing groundbreaking research on prostate cancer into looking at new treatments for prostate cancer, and we're looking at immunotherapeutic strategies. People don't usually think of scientists as being fun people, but they are, and we have a lot of fun here, and I think it's great work. It's a great job for people that don't want to work behind a desk all day. Also, there's lots of travel involved. You can work in many different parts of the world, and it's very rewarding work.
I'm an immunologist and a trial coordinator in the Cancer Immunotherapy Group at QIMR. Our group runs clinical trials testing therapies in patients that have cancer, and then in the lab we look at immune responses to try and determine why particular treatments are working in some patients. The work that we're doing is really cutting edge, and it's going a long way to try and help those people that are affected by the diseases that we work on. The best thing about my job is that it always presents new challenges, so no 2 days are ever the same. And I think one of the important things is that we can contribute to our understanding of immunology and disease, and in doing so try to help save people's lives. We also get to travel a lot around the world. I've been to lots of different places like the States and Europe, and I've done that many times, and that's a fantastic part of the job as well. Some scientists are geeky. I'd like to think that the majority of us aren't. We are like normal people that you'd see on the street. You know, we don't all wear thick black set glasses and read books and articles all night. We do have a life outside of work. I hope that 10 years from now that I'm still doing the same thing and enjoying it as much as I do now.
I'm the Business Development Officer for Tissue Therapies, an Australian biotechnology firm that is commercialising the technology called Vitragrow. Vitragrow is a protein complex that's purely synthetic and defined, and it stimulates the growth, proliferation and migration of cells. As soon as any technology is discovered in biotech, it can't just be made available to that country, it's a global technology immediately. So within the biotech and within science, there's lots of room to travel. I travelled last year around Australia and also internationally to conferences where we were exhibiting our product and our technology to the global stage. The best thing is no day is the same. There's always new challenges popping up. You never know what you're going to do next. It could be really fantastic and fun, or it could be a little bit mundane, but there's always variety. I recommend it to people who, like myself, enjoy science but can't imagine themselves being a lab rat. I think Tissue Therapies is a very dynamic and exciting company to be involved with, and I count myself very fortunate to have landed my first job in such a magnificent organisation with a great group of people behind it.